The following is a story from the deep web. I've always been a pretty smart guy when it comes to the Onion router. I use Tails and a VPS to access Tor. Before, I had never given out any personal info, never logged into anything personal. So after telling you all of that, you can understand why this story will be one of horror and embarrassment. I have always been on Tor. I will go to the Rabbit, Intel Exchange, Galaxy, and a few other similar forums, some smaller, but nothing ever too major. That was because up until this point, I had never really looked. So I never really knew what actually existed out there, let alone where or how to find them. I would get links from friends because this is how I found out about Tor. We had a friend who was a journalist that worked with us. She used Tor while overseas. That was until one day. One day, someone put the words, "the worst site I have ever seen." As a curious soul, I clicked it, and thus my journey begins. It led me to a site called Desired Violence, Desiring to Be Violent, or some jazz like that. I started looking around and seeing that there was every kind of divine act. Every kind. Act such as pedo-hurtcore, necrophilia, animal abuse, rape, and then there was even a rape section that I will never forget. It had a rape video downloads and pictures by age range from newborn, child, tween, teen, adult, college age, all the way to the elderly. People would post a lot of rape and torture videos and pictures. The videos would all be in links. And at first I felt sickened to be around it. But I wanted to know about the depravity. I wanted to know just how far a person could really go. Of course it couldn't go that far. We all have a soul, right? The more I looked around, the more I realized there really was no limit. There was even a section on learning how to abduct people of all ages, races, genders, and even different kinds of neighborhoods. There was even a place to team up. At one time, there was even one such instance to where two men abducted a young girl, maybe 15 or 16, and posted the video up for download. Not believing it, there's no way this could really happen. I downloaded the video. It was so horrible. I still cannot get the images out of my head. The sound of the beatings, the taking of her innocence, the sound of her last breath. I remember feeling disgusted, yet somehow I was morbidly aroused. They decimated that poor child until even the former shell of herself was no more. She looked nothing like the beginning. Then at the end of the video, it was almost like an insult. It had a picture of her to where they showed her date of birth and the date of death, almost as if it was put together by a family member or something on social media. Then I realized, oh my God, he knew her. I immediately deleted the video and disposed of the computer, taking out the hard drive and putting as many screws into it as possible, then burning the computer, then taking it to a dump. I really don't know why after that. I really didn't want to go back, but something in me just couldn't resist. It was almost like a driving force kept telling me to go back, almost like an addiction. And after a month, I did. My friend was right about one thing, though. This was by far the worst sight ever. Or so I thought. That was until one day a person posted some pictures onto the forum. The pictures was of a seriously brutal rape of a woman about college age and then left a link. I remember people complaining about him advertising and they were just bitching and bitching and bitching until a couple minutes later the post had been deleted. But I had the link. And I went on the site and it was labeled Truth or Rape. The best place for liars and the worst place for those who cannot lie. Is what they would do is start a game, as they called it, and ask personal questions. If the person refused to answer, they would be given info privately on someone they were supposed to harm, rape, torture, or whatever the crowd voted on. To be honest, I thought it was just a lot of people being funny. But there were a lot of videos, almost one on every post. I never actually watched any of them. And it's not because I didn't want to. I'm not all pious and shit. But if you've ever watched an upload on Tor, it could take 10 minutes just to load about 20 seconds of a video. It could even take longer sometimes. I wish so much that I would have watched a video. Because I would have ran. At least I hope that's what I would have done. Instead, I made an account and started getting to know people, and especially this one girl by the alt nick Red Velvet. We started role playing because she loved to be submissive. And it turned me on because at home, I wanted the power, but my wife, who made more money than I, would not allow me to take control. So this was exciting. I still don't know why I did this. I don't know. But eventually we started mentioning what date we wanted to meet up, but she kept saying no, no, no. But I did get her trust to where we started mentioning what state we lived in a little private chat. Then after a while, we built trust to tell each other even what city we lived in. And this was a very big coincidence because if you know anything about Tor, finding someone who lives in the same city as you, especially with the same interest, is almost impossible. But we lived in the same city. So after some time, my drive was really going up. I wanted not to be the submissive one for once. So I asked her, "Do you like role playing still?" Because I do like it, but it's getting a little old, and I would like something for real. She didn't type anything back for some time, and I replied, "Well, it was just a suggestion." She finally replied back after about 20 minutes. "You know what? I would love to." So we set up the motel. I was nervous, anxious, nauseous, just every emotion you can think of all at once. I debated so many times on leaving. I mean, for one, this is crazy dangerous. It could be a guy, a killer. I mean, you never know. Maybe even a cop. Also, I've never cheated before, so you can imagine emotions were on edge. She came in, and oh my God, she was hot. She had pink hair, almost like a raver, but the way she looked was more refined, and her body was wow. It wasn't hard to give in to temptation. More so when she let me roll her like a king rolls his court. 4 hours to be exact. Until it was time, we both had to leave. I told her I was going to take a shower and would be right back. She said, okay. When I came out of the shower, there was just a note saying, "Hey, I hate awkward goodbyes, so I will see you online. You are amazing, Master." It turned me on so much that when I got home, I took my wife into my arms and started to kiss her, when she instantly shot me down, saying instead of sex on the brain, how about having a second job? I mean, seriously, talk about a mood killer. Later on that night, I went on the site to talk to Red Velvet, but she invited me to a private chat with members only. I have to admit, I was a little upset as I wanted to be just me and her as usual, and I'll watch everything later. What would happen next is where everything changes. The first line I see in the sentence is, "Hello, Jacob." No. He isn't talking about me. There is no way he knows my name. He said it again. Then with my alt nick, or nickname. My stomach dropped. He said, "Welcome to the game." Then he asked me, truth or rape? And I said, "I don't want to play." He responded, "Aw, wouldn't that be too bad?" What would Mandy, Tabitha, and Samantha think? What? How in the hell did he know all of this? How did he know my wife's name and my daughter's names? I guess in all the silence and no typing, he said, First off, it's foolish to meet anyone who is unknown online, more so Tor. Secondly, should you be so bold as to meet up with them, you should never leave your personal items out for them to see. Shit, the shower. I left my pants in. Well, I left it on the bed, and my wallet was in the back pocket. I found out Red Velvet took a damn fucking camera out, took snapshots of my wallet, everything inside of it, including my ID, and sent it to the admin. So now the admin asked again, truth or rape? And if I have to ask you again, my friend's next door. He would be more than happy to go and pay a visit to your wife and your daughters one by one. So I said truth. He asked me some kind of question and I answered falsely, and it was a very personal truth. Once that happened, he said, "Shame, shame." And then a private inbox message popped up with directions and a time. And it said, "Do not be late or your family will suffer." So I go to the house and I read the instructions. First thing it says is to get a bag out from under a bush. There's makeup inside of it, an earpiece, duct tape, and many other things. It says, "Put the earpiece in now." So I did. And when I did, he said, "Wait 5 minutes, then go near the door. You will see a rock lighter than the others. There will be a key inside of it. I want you to get it and go inside of the house." I really didn't want to do it. I really didn't. But I did what he said. I remember wanting to vomit so badly, but I knew my family was at stake, and this was my fault. They should not have to suffer for me. He then told me, "Get the small mirror out." I reached in the bag and pulled out a little mirror. I said, "It's out." He said, "Good now. I want you to paint your face. Paint your face like a clown, but not just any old clown. A scary one. One so scary that when these women see you, there will be nothing but bells and clowns to pay. I get the makeup on. Now he says, put the headband on because it has a hidden camera in it. I put it on. Now he's saying, get a piece of duct tape ready and follow my instructions. First instruction was turning on the camera. Then it was time to go inside of the house. The second room on the left, you will see a girl about 19 naked and asleep. Go for her first by duct taping her mouth, but do it fast before she wakes up and starts screaming. I walk into the room. He was correct. She was naked. She was beautiful too, I might add. I quickly put the tape over her mouth. She started coming to. I put her arms behind her back and taped them. He said, now pull the knife out of the bag. I pulled the knife out. The young girl's eyes were just terror. And I told her, I'm not going to hurt you. At least I don't think I am. At that moment, the voice said, now walk down the hallway to the room straight ahead. So I pushed the girl and we started walking straight ahead. Then he told me, just flip the light on and she will wake up. At this point, I flipped the light on and instantly the mother awoke. I told her to come over to me, held the knife to her daughter's throat until the mother put her hands behind her back. I laid the mother on her belly and taped her arms, and then I taped her mouth. Now, at first, all the admin wanted me to do was strip them down and beat them. That was until after an hour of kicking them, hitting them with chairs and more. I was exhausted. He told me, make the mother mess with the daughter. I hesitated. He said, make the mother mess with the daughter. So I did. He said, make sure the camera is right on them. Then he said, I want you to be with them both. I tell you, I didn't want to, but I did. I didn't want to be aroused, but I was very aroused. I went back and forth till finally I was done. Then he had me say their names and to say if anything was ever said, I would kill someone named Eva. The look in their eyes alone was enough to know mouths would never be open about this. He then said, leave. He told me to put everything back into the bag and where to put it. I remember leaving them two taped together and then going to a park bathroom late at night to wash my face. What had I just done? Why? Why did I do this? What made me go to the stupid fucking site? I went home and noticed once again my wife was gone. As always. I figured while she was gone, I would go on the site real quick to see what it looked like that I had done. And I noticed the video was already up. That's whenever a message box popped up. The admin said, great job. See, when you do me a solid, I'll do you one as well. I said, what do you mean? What, you owe me something? He said, let's just say little controlling bitches should learn their place. He then sent me a link to a video. My stomach turned as I opened it. It was my wife. She was brutally raped and tortured over and over and over again. The video was 3 hours long. And every time she would ask him, why are you doing this to me? He would say, I'm not doing it to you. The game is doing it to you. Welcome to the game. And he would laugh and laugh while violating her. I logged off, and as I'm logging off, my phone rings. And my wife begs me, Come to the hospital, please, right away. Please, please. So I get in the car, knowing what I'm about to walk into. I finally make it to the hospital and the police are there. I see her scared, but I tell the police I don't have any info. I don't know who would have wanted to hurt her or me or anybody else. And all she could say, it was some big guy. They did a rape kit on her and sent her away. We got home. I had never been on that site since. I swore it off. No more deep web. Screw this shit. I heard it shut down a while ago. I have no idea. But I can say I have now been to hell and back and seen just how easily I could find pleasure in depravity. I no longer use Tor for this reason. The temptation is too strong. Sadly, since this incident, I have been looking into a lot of windows, videotaping women, watching them undress, watching everything they do. And yes, I have been sharing it with other people. And I feel this urge often. But I have had the strength to fight it so far. But this is so much like a drug. I'm not sure how much longer I can fight it. There is no help for people like me. And I'll be honest, since that day, my wife hasn't so much as even looked at me sideways. She's very submissive now and listens. So that is a testament to how truth or rape works. But do you know the worst part? Who knows where I am right now? I mean, I could be in your neighborhood. I can be outside your house right now. Maybe that's me looking in your window.